Hello, hello, hello. We are at long last getting caught up with One Piece. It has been a long time. So long that I am now paying for the Shonen Jump membership so that I can have access to these older chapters since they only give you the most recent three or so, I think, for free. And we are well beyond three. So that's the price I pay for my lateness and for my inability to make time for this and what have you. It's only like $1.99 a month or something ridiculously cheap like that, so I don't really mind. I'll just keep subscribed for as long as it takes me to get caught up on everything, and then in the future, if I need to, I can resubscribe. But yeah, it's quite an amazing deal. I'm pretty blown away by how generous Viz is with stuff like this. The best way to fight against piracy is just cheapness and convenience. This is what's been proven by Spotify and Netflix and many other types of companies. Anyways, none of this matters. We have a very exciting chapter, the last one ending with Roger appearing, one of the very rare appearances of the most legendary character in the universe, the center of all of the current kind of political climate of One Piece, the man who started the great age of piracy, Gold Roger, appearing in flashback, of course, being dead, very dead in modern times, but very much alive in this flashback and in the prime of his youth as well. So I'm super excited to see what he's up to. I'm super excited to actually see what kind of things he's capable of. On the cover story, we have Gang Bej still adventuring in Dressrosa. He was up against the virus pirates or something, the bacteria pirates. I thought they had sick, nasty designs, and I was hoping they'd be characters that maybe eventually appear in the main story. But it looks like they're gonna get like zero paged, getting wiped out in the cover story and probably never seen again. Too bad for them. Too bad for me, a quick fan of them. But good for Oda in making such memorable and fun characters, even though they're only going to appear in these two panels, probably. This one is called The Korozumi Clan's Plot. The world is made up of four major seas and one very long narrow sea. And from what they say, the world itself is round as a dumpling. What a mysterious thing. Oh, Oda is so cute. How is it that someone who's that powerful and that obnoxious and that arrogant and everything also just be so adorable with his relentless thirst for adventure and total world naivety? Compared to the rest of the world, Wano is so tiny. Exactly. Were you born Toki? Do not know. I only that Wano is my parents' homeland. So there's nowhere else for me to go except for Wano. Doubt that the ship will be going to Wano for some time. So I believe the chronological ordering here is this is, of course, Odin's eventual wife, who has the power of time travel. For all we know, she could actually have been born far in the past before this flashback. That could be an interesting twist. That her parents are actually from very ancient Wano, and she herself was born on some island that is relevant to the mysterious dark past of the world of One Piece, the Void Century. Things like this really open up when you have like the time leap character and are working in this real historical kind of flashback mode. So, anyways, the chronological ordering, as far as I can tell, these guys have to end up back on Wano at some point. Of course, we know that Roger went to Wano at some point, so I think they're going to meet up with Roger and get on his ship for the journey home. So they're flirting and stuff. A young Marco looking on with some embarrassment. Ha. Members of Whitebeard's crew and Odin's entourage alike charmed, simply charmed by the young lovebirds. This is Diamond Jozu, of course, standing next to Marco, who we haven't seen too much of, but seems like a real powerful guy. Whitebeard has his own natural enemy, the Navy, of course. I'm sure Odin can relate to this feeling of being persecuted, of people always chasing him out of places. Not fight them. They're an entire organization. If we fight more of them, we'll just keep coming. Organization that controls the world, you say. Must be full of mighty men. You can use this as a voyage to decide for yourself. Your country is still free for now. So Odin is not even aware of this fact that Wayno is not part of the world government. That's interesting to me. I don't know, probably his father was like aware of all this stuff, but never bothered to try to explain these details to his adventure-mad son. Makes sense. It's not something commonly known in Wayno, I guess, is what I'm saying. Even though around the world, I think Wayno has this reputation for being outside of the jurisdiction of the government. 28 years ago, the second year of Odin's travels, the baby is born, Momonosuke! Of course he wants to name it after Odin ingredients. His whole family's got this whole Odin shtick going on. Tell the world my son is invincible. Your name is Momonosuke. Odin has a wanted poster. I'm surprised we don't get to see it. Maybe we will in a future page, but they're so liberal now with letting us see wanted posters after that completely wild chapter where we saw those insanely high numbers on all the bounty posters. I thought after that they wouldn't hold off at all anymore. These newspapers don't have a single word about Wayno in them. There's no way for information to leak out of the country, just like on Zoe. King Divisions. This is the famous origin of the Whitebeard fleet. So we know Marco ends up leader of the 1st Division, and Ace for a while is part of the 2nd Division, after the untimely passing of... Ooh, it's somewhere in there, his name, but I can't think of it. It's just like a normal human name, I'm pretty sure. And Diamond Jozu, leader of the 3rd Division, something like that. Ooh, and Odin is the leader of the 2nd Division. That seems like a bad idea. It feels like Odin is not at all responsible enough. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. While he was daimyo, he became a lot more responsible, a lot more considerate, a lot more kind of broad-minded in terms of thinking through things, but can he really be in charge of a ship like this? Ooh, sometimes more people showed up on the ship, just as we ourselves found there originally. Not fishers were pirates. Teach. This, of course, is Blackbeard. I think someday we'll get a substantial Blackbeard flashback. One of the most haunting things Oda has ever drawn, in my opinion, is he was asked to draw the Shichibukai when they were young. And most of them kind of funny, kind of silly, quite entertaining, but Blackbeard's in a quite a revelatory moment, expressed only in this SBS doodle, is sitting there crying, kind of curled up in a ball, with just the crescent moon overhead. The image lingers in my mind. Because until then, and all interactions outside of then, Blackbeard has been one of the most abhorrent, unsympathetic characters in the entire series. He's done heinous acts of violence, remorseless cruelty and killing, and seems to care not for anyone besides his own fortune and success. But in that moment, in that one drawing, I thought, is Oda foreshadowing that someday the seeds of sympathy will be placed onto Blackbeard? I don't know. But here we see him again. And lining up with the SBS, he is battered, wearing patched up rags, crying, desperate to leave wherever he is. It's interesting, like, seeing all of this from Odin's perspective. He doesn't really have the awareness to say, we were on this island, we were in this sea, anything like that. We just get these very vivid memories of his. Now, of course, the reason we see Blackbeard getting on the boat is because that's a very pivotal moment in our story. But I'd like to think that it actually makes a lot of sense kind of in-universe as well, that something about Blackbeard struck Odin, that even though they took on a multitude of castaways and refugees and stowaways and what have you, that Odin, for some reason, remembered this kid specifically, so that in this flashback, seeing through his memories, we see that moment too. Because I think, just like Luffy, just like many other characters, there's an aura around Blackbeard. There's something that makes people take notice. Anyways, it's very interesting, isn't it? No matter how far we sail across the sea, I still have more to see. I simply don't know how to end an adventure once it's begun. So here, the second division, landing at whatever island, and Odin booking it to just see anything. Very, very much shades of Luffy. I love these big flower or plants or something that look like that kind of confetti candy that's popular in Japan. I don't know what it's called, but it's just kind of hardened sugar. Meanwhile, in Wano, a grave situation has the daimyos of the country gathering in the flower capital. Sukiyaki, the shogun, is in critical condition. I want the next shogun to be Odin. With Odin's absence, if anything should happen to me, I'll need a proxy to rule until he returns. Ooh, so I choose the man whom Odin doted upon like a younger brother, Kurozumi Orochi. Ooh. Odin treated him like a brother? And here, what's his face? Yasui, the beloved daimyo. Suspicious. Suspicious from the start, and we know that eventually he is the one that protests the new shogun. Being given the opportunity to repair the Kurozumi clan's dishonor, I owe a lifetime debt to Lord Sukiyaki and Odin. For the sake of atoning for my grandfather's crime, I humbly pledge to use my ability, meager as it is, to prepare the throne for Odin's ascension. I shall be a puppet who sits inert upon that seat, waiting only for Odin's return. I beg you all for your assistance until then. So now we're getting, of course, a flashback within a flashback, as Oda loves to do. Learning about the Kurozumi clan, some rival clan whom 2 generations ago, I guess, perhaps tried to betray the shogun, betray the royal family. Can see it, a vision of the future. You will be the shogun. This is quite the panel. Very rarely does Oda, there's like the full page reaction shot that Oda likes to do. But outside of those, it's not often the art style will change so drastically. I love this shot of the temple and the gravestones in this pouring rain, too. Again, just all these little samurai, old Japan, feudal Japan tropes, cliches, atmospheric moments that I know Oda has just been piling up in his mind for his dream Wano arc. So, let him have a flashback within a flashback. Let him have a flashback within a flashback within a flashback, if it lets him express all of these feelings he has towards old Japan. This character is nuts, by the way. Talking about prophecies and stuff, very rarely in One Piece is this sort of supernatural type thing evoked. Who are you anyways? Who is this old lady who's making this Macbethian prophecy? Mean to tell me you are not aware of what happened to your grandfather? It's actually going to be a flashback within a flashback within a flashback, isn't it? This old lady's going to tell him the story. Don't know much, just that he committed seppuku. Not quite. He was killed by the Kozukis. He must have committed some crime. What does crime even mean in a squabble for political power? He who stands at the top writes the rules. And just like that, a crime is no longer a crime. The previous shogun of the Kozuki clan did not sire any children. Ooh, he had no hair, you see. The 5 daimyo clans who served Kozuki were restless. Who would be the next shogun? Each of them harbored hope that he would be the one. But your grandfather was prepared. So this is something that actually happened in the real Japanese shogunate, in real Japanese history. I think it was only between 3 daimyos. And this is where... oh, let's just forget it. Because I'm going to mess up people's names, and I'm going to mix up who is where, and I don't know. You can watch some videos on it and stuff. It's very interesting, though. It is very interesting. The feuds over the empty throne, Or I think in actual Japan's case, it was just that a very young child ascended to the throne of emperor, and all of these ambitious people were like, "This is my chance. I'm just gonna take over for the kid." Prepared to poison all of those rival daimyos, that is. One after another, they vanished, seemingly perishing in a civil war. The shogun, anguished by the death of his loyal daimyos, took sick from stress. Oh my gosh, this panel! Her face is so contorted, and for a second I thought her eyes were like on top of her eyes. Do you see what I'm talking about? But no, that's just like the thing she's wearing. Plan was working, but just when it seemed those ambitions would be realized, the shogun's baby and heir was born. Kozuki Sukiyaki. Ah, interesting, interesting. Not only did Kazumi fail to become shogun, the plan came to light. Your grandpa was forced to commit seppuku, and the clan was cut off from power. Lands, castle, and titles confiscated. Now, it's interesting here. This old lady's argument is basically everyone was prepared to kill each other. Or everyone was ready to kill each other. Everyone would have killed each other. But only his grandfather was actually like ready, actually set up to act, scheming up until that point. But I think this argument doesn't quite hold water. And I based this on another manga series. In Lone Wolf and Cub, they're trying to rub out the titular Lone Wolf, of course, the kind of shadow family that took over the position of executioner and ousted the Lone Wolf. I'm sorry, his name eludes me. It's some samurai-sounding name. From any contact with the royal family and stuff. He's on the outlaw. Blah, blah, blah. This is the very basic premise of the series. But several points, I'm pretty sure they're like, well, it's one thing to kill each other in battle. It's another thing to like poison each other. And that it was like extra despicable when they start sending the poisoners and stuff after him. Right? I'm remembering this right? It's been a long time since I read it. So it's like the idea they seemingly perished in a civil war. That would have been okay. They were just actually fighting each other and trying to kill each other. That would have been okay. But the plan came to light. That is to say, it was a secret that he was poisoning them and then making them seem like they were dying in just conflict. So what I'm saying here is actually quite interesting. I'm sorry to really belabor this point, but you know we spent like 10 minutes talking about Blackbeard too, so I think it should be okay. But I think it's very interesting here because we can see where Orochi's moral values are being established, where even though the poisoning actually was never okay, even though that wasn't actually equivalent at all to what the other daimyos were doing, in Orochi's mind, this is like some great injustice. That sort of ambition was fine, that any sort of ambition is fine, that it's only being consistent. Everything was taken. The Korozumi name was lower than dirt. The clan was tossed out into the street, belittled by all. And whose fault is it that you live in poverty? Whose fault? It was Kozuki Sukiyaki's fault for being born. This is the conclusion he reaches. Not my grandfather's fault for poisoning people, which is never okay. But Kozuki Sukiyaki's fault. I love this image that Orochi thinks about himself as shogun. For just a moment, I have a little bit of sympathy, because it's clear that from the very start, his morals have been extremely warped. And it's kind of cute that his mental image of being shogun actually turned out to be 100% accurate. That's exactly what his life is like as a shogun, so that's kind of cool. Triumph does not matter. Been out of the country, it's been a terrible ordeal. So what is up with this person? Whoa? Whoa. What? Okay, well that's very strange. So Okay, so this person has the clone fruit, which is the fruit that Mr. Tubon Clay has. So Mr. Tubon Clay, of course, born much, much after this person dies. But the fact that Mr. Tubon Clay was there when this person died is very interesting, because we know now how devil fruits work. Sort of, barely. We know one thing about how devil fruits work, which is when you die, you send out a wave of the devil fruit energy or something, and then the nearest fruit, just normal fruit, to you when that happens, turns into that devil fruit. Seems to be what's going on. We saw it in Punk Hazard. This happened firsthand. So what's going on there? Did Mr. Tubon Clay go to Wano? Did this person go to wherever the heck Mr. Tubon Clay is from? Unclear. Also interesting, she sets out this fruit, which is maybe the Hydra fruit? That's the power that Orochi has, right? He has like some Hydra zone. But it doesn't look like any other devil fruit we've seen. It doesn't have the swirls and stuff. Okay, anyways, so he sets off. This is the scheme he's been undertaking since the entire time we met him, since the awkward time he inserted himself into Odin's entourage. This is what he's been building towards. Yes, yes. Hakumai getting in with Yasui Daimyo. He's gone missing. That's when he stole all the gold from the safe. Then he goes into Kuri, where Odin is Daimyo. Yes, yes, yes. And this is like quite a scheme. Because when now, in present time, going one flashback layer above, when they're like, Odin treated Orochi like a little brother. It's evident why they think that, because Odin was always lending him money. Why would he do that if he wasn't very fond of Orochi? It's adding up in a despicable way. Your vessels. Player to hire this man for the castle. Hardworking, mixed medicine. It's like a brother to me. So, oh, that wasn't Odin. That was this mysterious clone fruit crane. Okay, okay. On my way this far. Let's take over Orochi. Yes. So, we see the Shogun going from coughing his lungs out to laughing like an imbecile. And the implication is clear. Orochi is poisoning him, drugging him. Because Orochi, of course, hired on to mix up the medicine. It's not that long after this that news of Shogun Sukiyaki's death swept through Wano. One day, in the 4th year since Odin left, fish are in an uproar. Oh, Marco's got his Phoenix powers now. I don't know if he had them up until this point. But it's interesting. They're like back on the Moby Dick now. I'm not really sure how these divisions work. Like, I thought they got their own ships. I'm pretty sure they get their own ships. But then sometimes they come back and hang out with Whitebeard. Just for good old time's sake, I guess. I don't really know how it works. But anyways, Odin is back with Whitebeard. They're going to go investigate some island. We see a quick little gallery of characters that showed up in the Paramount War. It's, I don't know, I just love how Oda does this, right? Like, it doesn't matter to probably so many readers, but I was just rereading the Paramount War. I'm sure I'd remember it otherwise. But the guy with the bandana has the big chain chomp ball thing, and then the guy standing next to him with the sword and the cigar. Well, he has a sword and a cigar, and he still has a sword and a cigar during the Whitebeard War. It's sweet. So Momonosuke's little sister has been born, whom now is a grown woman. No wild animals are running. What on earth? What in the world is on this island? Roger? Is it Roger? Is it Roger? Because Sukiyaki's dead. So the next kind of phase of that story, not only can it start, like not only are all the pieces in place for now, the takeover of Ueno by Orochi and then the selling of it out to Kaido and what have you, but that actually has to start like fairly soon, right? Because we know that Momonosuke isn't like all that much older than this when he's sent forward in time. Um, so I think the return journey to Wano probably starting soon, and again I assume that's going to be on Roger's ship. Hell yeah, motherfucker! It's Roger! Woo! Look at these! Look at these motherfuckers! Hell yeah! Just the way, I don't know, man. Just the way that Shanks is squatting there eating choco. At least bring Garper Son Goku with you. The rest of you are no fun. Whitebeard's ship is on the far side of the island. There's Crocus. There's Buggy with a little hoodie or toque. A toque he's wearing. It's cute. It suits him. There's Scopper. Scopper, who has the big axe, who is presumably third in command after Silver's Raleigh, just because that pattern fits. Gold, silver, copper, I guess. I kept thinking that he was from Wano, because he just looked like that kid that that Odin was hanging out with. I thought that guy would grow up and end up on Roger's ship and blah blah blah. So I guess I was wrong about that. There's a lot of mysterious guys here that I have no idea who they are. This big fish man is interesting, and the guy in front of him sort of looks like Yasop, who ends up in Shanks's crew. Usopp's father, but I don't think the time. Well, I guess the timeline would work out. But like, what would he be doing here, and then go to Syrup Island and have a kid, and then like what? Back to adventure? I don't know. It doesn't quite make sense. We just fought one battle, Roger. My birthday, my. It's been ages. Guess we'll have another scrap. You can only risk death when you're still alive, and my end is nigh. This might be the last time we'll ever meet, Whitebeard. So, this must mean Roger already knows about his fatal disease. Roger already knows that he's just on the way out, period. That means he's already been to Raftel. He's already left One Piece there. That's so exciting just to say these words. Now he's just kind of screwing around, having fun, before he eventually gives himself up to the Navy. Now, we know during the Paramount War, there was a flashback where Whitebeard shouts, "One Piece, it exists!" And he's thinking back to a day where he sat and drank with Roger and discussed the legendary treasure. So that, I think, must happen on this island. That's going to happen, like, very soon, that flashback. Alright! On with the next chapter! We have so many before we're caught up, and I gotta say I'm pretty excited. Because, this is pretty exciting stuff. This is like the entire legacy of the series rests upon these sorts of characters, and now we're finally seeing them in action. And I have faith in Oda. I think it's going to be wild. So let's hop into chapter 966. See you then.